Somewhere Out There podcast. We got our first musical guest. We got Lisa from the Toadies. You know, remember that band back in the 90s that was huge? That came out of Texas? Yes, we got Lisa from the Toadies on Somewhere Out There podcast. Hello, fellow Earthlings. It's your commander-in-chief, your leader, your fearless leader here, James, aka Max Standard. Today's episode is very special. So me and my brother got a interview with Lisa from the Toadies. Yes, Lisa from the Toadies, that big band from the 90s that came out of Texas. And yeah, just listen up. It's a very good interview. One of the best interviews ever.
I walked away from my phone and I looked down. I was like, oh fuck, what time is it? It just felt really early.
Nice.
Anyway.
It's all good. Well, welcome to the Somewhere Out There podcast. I'm James. I got my co-host here, producer, brother right here. His name is?
Hello, I'm Jonathan Weaver. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, you bet. I'm sorry I was late.
No problem at all. So how's your day been? How's it going?
Good. It's been busy. I was doing a bunch of tours and errands, and so yeah.
Nice.
I'm finally like chilling now.
Very cool. So where do you reside at?
Dallas.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Are you from Dallas originally?
No, Air Force brats. We lived all over. I was born in Indiana, and we lived everywhere.
Nice. Cool.
But we moved down to Texas when my dad retired from the Air Force because we got family here, and we just all kind of stayed. So all my siblings are here as well.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. Do you like the military, all that stuff? Did you adapt pretty well to it? I mean, or did you?
We got to see. We never went international. It was only domestically. My dad was a missile control officer, so he's the guy that went down in the hole and would launch the missiles. So he was stateside. So every place that we stayed or were stationed was in the United States. So we got to see every place. So it was pretty kick-ass.
Nice. Anywhere in particular that you found fond of?
Yeah, I miss Montana. We lived in Montana for quite a few years, and that was great there.
Nice.
My parents hated it because it was so cold, and I loved it because it was so cold.
Oh, so you like it? Okay, cool. So you like the winter?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and it's just gorgeous up there. Have you guys ever been to Montana?
No, we haven't.
Man, it's phenomenal. I mean, you've never seen mountains like that. I mean, Colorado, it's okay, but you go to Montana, and it's like next level.
Nice. Very cool. So, all right, so let me jump in real quick. So what got you into playing bass?
My dad played music. He always played music, and he's in the rock. My dad's in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, so he was really good. His band, when he was in college, had a hit in the Midwest, and my dad was the kind of guy that could just pick up any instrument and just play it. He was that kind of talented, and I always wanted to play, but my mom. This is not to blame her, but my dad got out of music because of my mom. Because you know, he got married and he wanted to start a family, and you know, the rock and roll lifestyle isn't always good for families, and so he quit playing professionally, and so it was kind of in our house. No one played anymore. So it was kind of a rule. It was an unspoken rule because I would always ask for a guitar and always wanted to play because I loved the music. And every Christmas from the time I was like 5, I was like, I want a guitar, and never got one for any birthday, holiday, whatever. And then I started playing sports, so I kind of was like, okay, well, sports will be my thing. But when I started college, worked in a music store with Todd Lewis from the Toadies, the singer from the Toadies, and Charles, who was the then guitar player. And they're like, we're starting a band. And I was like, okay. And they were like, we want you to play bass. And I was like, all right. I didn't play anything. So, and I guess because I could speak so fluently about music, they thought that I did play bass. And
nice.
I went home and I was like, shit, what am I going to do? Called my dad. And it was a Friday night. And I was like, hey, tomorrow, can we go to a pawn shop? I need to get a bass and an amp. I got a rehearsal on Sunday.
Cool.
And my dad's like, okay. And I was like, and I have these 3 songs I need you to teach me. Because they gave me a demo. And I had to come up with a bass line for him. And he was like, what the hell are you thinking? I can't teach you to play in the night. And I was like, well, that's what we got. And so my dad and I went and bought a bass and an amp, and the rest is kind of history. I showed up on Sunday, and they could tell I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But I guess, they were okay with it, and Todd was really good at teaching. And
were they kind of, I guess when you told your parents what they were going to be doing, was there kind of a support for you to kind of do this, or was this like, oh, she's just going to do it this one time and we'll see what happens, or what did they have in mind, or what did you lead them on to believe?
I don't think my parents thought that it was going to stick. Yeah. Because I was going to college full time and I was still playing softball. That's how I paid my way through college. I got scholarships. And I think they just thought it was going to be this thing that I would just do and give up.
Yeah.
And but as soon as they saw that it was going to be something else, they totally were on board. In fact, when the Toadies were touring, they would. My parents had both retired by then, and they bought a minivan, and they followed us around the country and would show up at arenas and stuff and watch us play.
Very cool. I like that.
Yeah.
And this is why you were going to University of Arlington, is that correct?
Yep.
UTA. Yeah, and I guess I know you were studying, or you graduated with business administration, your undergrad, but I guess was that something that you were kind of planning like a career in as well, or music kind of just fell together with that, or what was your kind of logic behind that?
I was planning on being a doctor, so I was getting my degree. I have like 6 hours away from having a biology degree, so I was in school to become a doctor. But as soon as the band started happening, I was like, I can't spend that amount of time in school, and I want to graduate sooner and focus on music. So I switched majors, and so I switched from science to business because I thought it would help the most and it would be the easiest. Not gonna lie, I thought it would be the easiest, that I wouldn't have to exert myself too much to graduate, because we would play shows in Dallas because we lived in Fort Worth at the time. Drive from Fort Worth to Dallas, play a show, be done at 3 a.m, and I had an 8 o'clock class.
Wow.
So I would just pull into the parking lot, sleep in my car, and go to class. And I needed to not have a ton of homework, and that was business.
I mean, when was the moment you focused more on music? When was the turning point?
I can't remember exactly how it all came about, but I just know that a bunch of stuff started happening where I actually quit sports altogether. I tried to play sports too with the band, so I was in college sports, going to school, working full-time in the band, and at some point it was like, wow, I'm going to have to can't spin all of these plates at the same time. I'm going to have to let something go. So the first thing was sports. I let that go. And then the next thing was change majors. And I just started aligning things to focus on band. And I don't know exactly what the very exact moment was, but I think it was like a bunch of different things started happening.
At this point, when the band blew up, was there any regrets? You're like, maybe I should have stayed doing sports or going back to or I don't know, maybe staying a few more semesters at college. Did that any of that happen, or was it?
No. No regrets, because it was pretty amazing because we got signed. I graduated in May. We got signed in June, and we went we went to LA and started discussing producers in August. So everything kind of resolved itself at the same time. So, I graduated, we got signed, and I didn't think about, business except in the music business and contracts and stuff until, things started happening. So I didn't get, like, quote unquote, a real job. I didn't have to, because we got signed. It was awesome.
It was like smooth sailing, right? I mean, I could just imagine you were just like, things are going right with the current, right? Something like that?
Yeah. In fact, it's really funny because I had enough credits to graduate probably a couple semesters before, but I was staying in school because I could stay on my parents' insurance, and school felt like I was at least doing something during the day. And so I was just kind of staying in school anyway. And when I found out that we were going to go do a short West Coast trip and we were going to meet with a couple labels, I went and met with my advisor in college, and I was like, I want to graduate now. And he was like, why the hell haven't you come to me sooner and talk to me about this? Because you could graduated a long time ago. And I was like, I don't know, I'm ready now. And so that was kind of how it all went down. It was weird that I didn't even think about graduating until it looked like something was going to happen with the band.
That's awesome. And I guess when people think about joining a band or they have that allure of like, I'm going to be in a rock band, I'm going to make it. Did your idea of what it meant to be in a band differ from when you started up until like the release of Rubberneck, or how did those kind of ideas of what it meant to be in a band, how did they differentiate, or how were they different?
Yeah. So the biggest difference was we were super frugal. We got a huge signing bonus, but we didn't do the tour bus, and we didn't hire a bunch of crew. We bought a 15-passenger van, and so because we didn't know how long it was going to go. We didn't know Rubberneck was going to hit. We thought we should save our money because not very many bands have a hit record. So we were being super, super frugal with our money because who knows when you're going to be sent back to Texas.
Gotcha. Do you feel where did the being frugal? I mean, if anything, I think that's awesome, being frugal. All these bands that start off like from the trunk of their car, like Jane's Addiction, stuff like that. Selling 10,000 albums from your trunk of your car. I mean, I feel that's awesome. Instead of like this big act to get signed right automatically, and then never saw the never experienced the stages of getting to the top. I mean, after what you're telling me, do you feel that was a key to your success, to the band's success, when Rubberneck blew up?
Yeah, I think it was just a small part of it. And it's not just that we were frugal. I think it's because we were humble. So, all those little things that we didn't, like, get signed and say, we're stars, and now we're going to act different, we're going to treat people different, and we're going to be different now because we did this thing. We got signed. And we were still the same people. We still wore the same clothes. We still hung out with the same people. um, if we didn't change from, you know, getting signed didn't change us. Like I have friends who have been signed, and we became different people. So I think that we were grounded, and we were a pretty tight group of friends. So we trusted each other, and we kept each other grounded. And I think that was the biggest difference with us. So.
I mean, I like what you had said. Something stuck with me right now. You said being true to yourself around those lines. I couldn't help but notice that in the video of Possum Kingdom and in interviews that you've done, you always wear a hockey jersey. That is so cool. That is so original. Could you maybe emphasize more? Like, is you like that style, the jersey style, or where did that come from?
I like the jersey style, but I freaking love hockey.
Nice.
And the way it popped up is we were recording Rubberneck, and Fort Worth, Texas got their first hockey team in like 20 years. When I was a kid, they had a hockey team, and it was a minor league hockey team, and it went away. The Fort Worth Texans, they were in the Blackhawks. It was a Blackhawks feeder team.
Nice.
And so when I was, we were in the studio in California, and I heard that Fort Worth was getting their first team, the Fort Worth Fire. And I called my dad, and I was like, I need a fucking jersey. I need a jersey, and I want to represent Fort Worth. And I freaking love hockey, because I had a couple of other hockey jerseys that I'd worn because my uncle was in the Red Hawks. The Red Wings.
Nice.
Minor league team. So I had hockey jerseys and had skated and played. And when Fort Worth got their team, I was like, that's it. I have to represent Fort Worth, and I need a Fort Worth jersey. And that's how that happened. And my dad called the Fort Worth Fire, went down there, got a game-worn jersey for me, and then it just became my shtick where I would wear hockey jerseys. But my intention was just to wear the Fort Worth one to represent Fort Worth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just it's just when I saw that video and I saw you with the jersey, I just thought it was so cool. I got one because yeah, it stuck out to me. For some reason, it reminded me of kind of like the movie Clerks, like where the lead guy wears the hammer and sickle.
Yeah.
Where it just popped out. It popped out with you too. I mean, I was just like, this is awesome. I love that style. It's like, for some reason, I'm like all the cool kids. Is that what they're wearing? I seen you two guys wear it. It's so cool. But yeah.
No, and then I freaking love hockey. I love hockey jerseys, and wearing that Fort Worth Fire jersey was the best thing ever, because when I came home, I got to go to a bunch of games. Fort Worth Fire won the cup, and the Toadies got to play the national anthem in their final game where they won the series where they won the cup, and they invited us to come play, and that was freaking amazing. So, and then Pantera made the theme song for the Dallas Stars, so I don't think it's a huge jump that people who are playing rock and roll are loving hockey. There's something that's similar about the two.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like you guys, Pantera, and even like back to the old rock and rollers, Janis Joplin and Buddy Holly. I mean, do you feel it's something about Texas that kind of like, I don't want to say breeds, but something about Texas that kind of like brings out there's a special thing going on with Texas? Do you feel that way?
Definitely. When the Toadies were coming up, we tried to bring as many bands with us as we could and shine a light on all the bands that were amazing that were in Dallas and Fort Worth. We would bring them on tour, and because there is, it's, people are like, there's something in the water, but I think it's just that there's a kind of boldness to Texas in general. So anyone who lives in Texas got this boldness, and it's not brash like New Yorkers, because New Yorkers are super proud of being New Yorkers. Texans are super proud of being Texans. But it's not as brash as New Yorkers are, but it's bold like that. And there's something about that boldness of Texas that I think makes good music.
Absolutely.
And speaking of that and kind of the boldness, I think there's always a dynamic between people and their bands as far as creativity goes. Sometimes there's obstacles, sometimes it's really well kind of facilitated, but for you guys, once y'all started, each person is an individual, obviously, but what was the creative process like for you and the rest of the band, and how did y'all balance that as far as what was rehearsed and what actually landed on the album?
Yeah, man, you know, it's really funny because most of the songs that ended up on Rubberneck we didn't want on that album, because we had recorded an EP, and I think 3 of those songs were on the EP, and we didn't want to rehash something that was older. So the record label talked us into doing Possum Kingdom was one of the songs, because we didn't want that song on the record at all. And that was the one that they wanted the most and became the hit. So I'm glad it was on there because of that. But I think we had other songs that were amazing. The creative process was, you know, Todd's the main vocalist. Todd had most of the main ideas starting. And then that gradually became more of a community within our band of creativity. So when we were on the road, we had never written on the road. It was all like someone came into our rehearsal space with an idea, and we didn't write fast at all. It would gestate, and we wouldn't play it live for a while until we had played around with it for a while and listened to it a million times and gone, okay, this one's good, let's play it. So it was different when we were out touring, because the only time we really got to play together was in the green room, and it's usually loud or nothing could happen really that was creative in there a lot, because it was too frantic in the green room. So when if and when we got sound checks, that's really the biggest time that we would write. And you have, 20 minutes. So we made every second count. And that's when we started writing. We wrote songs like Waterfall. I can't remember which other songs we did. But basically it was just like someone warming up on a riff and like, okay, what is that? And so we'd spend a couple sound checks writing a song. And then Todd would take it and write lyrics. So the creative process definitely evolved, where it wasn't just a one-man show of having to have the burden of lifting everything. But we definitely transformed. We got so tight by playing every freaking night that when we started writing from that space, it became more fluid and easy.
Did you feel that the singles that came out of the singles that you guys have had, that they were going to become singles, or was it just unexpected? Where you just like, I had no idea that the label had, the label were looking at certain songs as singles, or how did that work?
Yeah, they told us which songs they liked, and when they asked for our input, I'm pretty sure that there were several conversations that happened where, like, we don't care. We really didn't care. Because we kept telling them that it was like picking your favorite child. So we're like, you guys pick. We don't care. We're just going to go out and play music, and you guys do all that stuff. You guys pick the song. They did pick Mr. Love as the second single, and we did think that was kind of stupid. Because there was other songs that were more Tyler is more accessible, because Mr. Love is just like in your face and just driving, and they were trying to push us to alternative radio, and that one's really not an alternative rock one. That's just like complete AC/DC kind of rock.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't have picked that, and Todd probably wouldn't have picked that song, but we were like, whatever. And we made a video for it. So we really didn't chime in on that because we didn't. We would say our opinion if we thought it was wrong, and that's probably the only time we said. But the other times we're just like, you guys pick. You get paid a lot of money to pick a song. Do it. Gotcha.
And you mentioned being a community with your bandmates and stuff. My question is that I feel that I feel that it used to be a boys club of having a band and stuff, and then bands as yourself like the Toadies, the Pumpkins, the Pixies. Once they a woman bassist, I feel like it made it more it kind of like, no, it's not just a boys club. It's everybody everybody likes to rock, and at the same time it kind of gave bands made rock look more open-minded. Do you maybe feel that way?
Yeah, definitely. But when we were out on the road, there weren't very many girls still. I mean, there was Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water.
No problem.
Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth, I always looked up to. Of course, Kim Deal from the Pixies, who was my fucking idol. PJ Harvey, who a lot of people don't, hands down is one of the most fucking vicious, savage guitar players I've ever heard.
Nice.
And singers. She didn't play bass, but god dang could she play guitar. And but when we were out on the road, there wasn't a whole lot of women instrumentalists. I mean, we'd play festivals and there would be girls who were singers like No Doubt and bands like that who had a female singer, but there weren't very many that they went to lead. Choked up over the women stuff.
It's all good.
When we toured, we went out with White Zombie and Sean, the bass player for Zombie.
Sean Izzo, yeah.
It was the first female that we were on the road with and toured. So that was freaking awesome. Because she was used to the same thing. I mean, White Zombie, they weren't, they didn't play with any women. So, any band that opened for them or they opened for were all dudes. So we kind of commiserated a little bit about that. That was pretty cool. So that was fun. But, there wasn't a whole lot of, we did tour a little while with Garbage, and that was cool because she's Shirley Manson.
Shirley Manson? Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's awesome, huh?
Yeah. But, there in the 90s, it was hit and miss, and there were some females, but whenever we would run into each other, it would be like, you guys doing okay? How's it going? And we would all check in with each other.
Nice.
It's a different kind of club. But, it's still that way. It's still mostly men, and it's still, the boys club. So you have to learn how to fit in there. And the way that I did it was just fucking gotten trash.
Yeah.
And I know that's the way that Sean did it, too. She just felt like she had to go out and just, completely every night, just balls to the wall thrash. And it was fun. So.
Absolutely. I mean, you and Sean and, once again, Darcy from Smashing Pumpkins, you guys really wore it well. You wore it very well. And you guys didn't look like posers. If anything, you guys made it look even more intriguing. I swear, looking at back in the day, in high school when I first started getting into you guys, it felt very cool looking at you and the Possum Kingdom video, the jersey, awesome, and then Darcy with the Pumpkins. For as far as I've been in a few bands. Me and my brother been in a few bands. We always were looking for girl bassists. Unfortunately, we never got that we never got that luxury of getting a girl bassist. But I mean, at the same time, you guys really, I feel, put like a button on it, and I guess, I mean, it's just that. I mean, if anything, that it should be documented in rock history. You guys, the way that you guys wore it. I mean, you guys are awesome.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Thank you. One really cool perk about being a girl in the band is we had just started the Toadies. And do you guys know who Fugazi is?
Yes.
Which I freaking love. I love Fugazi.
Ian McKay.
And when they came through Fort Worth, and one of the things on their contract said that the opening band has to have a girl in it. And we had just started playing. I think we had one live show, just one show, and there were no other bands with a girl in them besides us. And so the club was like, please, you guys, you got to do it. And we're like, fuck no, we're not opening for Fugazi. We have only one show. We've only played one show. And they're like, you have to, because we have to have a girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. So we did it, and we were so terrified. I still remember that night. We were terrified, and it was the scariest and the coolest thing we ever did.
Nice.
And,
so that's the first part to the interview with Lisa from the Toadies. Yeah, so had the interview went on for about an hour. So it's gonna be the first part if I ever decide to release other parts to it. But she was really nice. She gave a lot of information to how she started in the music business, how she started with being in a band. The mic was going off and on. Because my brother was maneuvering the computer, and he was also maneuvering the questions. And yeah, you gotta give props to that guy. He put everything together, and he was going back and forth, and he was pulling up information. Yeah, she's definitely gonna be back on the show. She was very cool. She resides in Dallas. Yeah, it was man to one shot to get her on. I mean, I had no idea, just threw a stone, and it landed wherever it did, and she made contact when I contacted her to see if she wanted to be on the podcast. But yeah, she was very cool, and she was very it wasn't hard to get her on or anything. She was right off the bat. She was, yeah, absolutely, I'll do an interview with you. But yeah, like I said, I have some more material. If anything, I don't want to say that it's the definite, because I mean, I really do want to put some more material, but usually something always comes up. But yeah, that was the latest episode. I know we've been absent for a little bit, but as of now, we're trying to kickstart this thing again. And being now that I got a producer, a guy that's putting everything together. But yeah, so yeah, until next time, guys. Like I always say, through Instagram, Embrace the Strange and the Change. Upcoming episodes are coming soon. I have been releasing what I like to call the Strange Talk every week. I've been trying to get it on that, and like always, Embrace the Strange. Thank you.